Good morning, beautiful people. How are you all today? I hope you're well. I hope you are as content as Miss Poppy here. Hey, Miss Poppy. Oh my goodness, it's warm. Well, it's hot. I'm sweating, and now I'm going to have cat hairs sticking all over me. Yes, so I think I just breathed a cat hair in. It's hot. There's no two ways about it. Actually, what does my thermometer... So my shed thermometer says 31, which is 92 Fahrenheit. See, I've got the hang of this conversion thing now. It's great. Thank you for that, Michelle. I can convert Celsius to Fahrenheit like that. Now, obviously, the shed gets a bit warmer than outside because, you know, it's been closed up, although it has been open for half an hour. And because it's painted a darkish colour and the roof is dark, it as soon as the sun comes up, it starts absorbing that heat. But yes, it's hot. It's hot for us. This is proper summer, isn't it? Oh, love, 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 love it. So you will have seen from the last couple of videos, I got the deck finished, so I got my deck chair in place. Wimbledon is thoroughly underway. It was my birthday yesterday, so I'd like to say a massive, massive thank you to you all for just such lovely messages, greetings, cards, treats. Honestly, I was so thoroughly spoiled. I was very good. A few of you had sent envelopes early and it said do not open until your birthday, and I didn't. I saved them. And then on the actual morning of my birthday, the postman rang the doorbell and I could have done with help carrying everything up the stairs. So yes, a massive, massive thank you to you. And what that's Poppy jumping up. I didn't actually bring the cards down with the pinboard. They're all in my lovely deep front window at home because there were just so many of them. I actually liked seeing them at home. And of course, they were so garden themed, so thank you. There was one in the shape of a watering can, others with pictures of watering cans. So much garden themage going on, brilliant. And so many beautiful homemade cards, absolutely gorgeous. Yes, so I was thoroughly spoiled, had a wonderful day. I'm covered in cat hair. I spent most of the morning and into the early afternoon working. That was fine. I know I'd promised myself a day off. However, since promising myself that day off, in the meantime, I've arranged something for today. I've got friends visiting in the garden today. And because I knew that ostensibly this would end up being a day off, so I thought, fine, I'll work on my birthday, just take the afternoon and evening off. Enjoyed a bit of tennis, enjoyed a few beers. It was great. It was so simple, but you know, I like the simple. I had a couple of hours in the garden, saw a few folk down here, so it was just super simple and super lovely. So today, yes, it's going to be mostly, I don't think I'm going to get much work done today. Brilliant. Especially because it is so hot. I know I keep going on about it, don't I? But it's just beautiful. Yeah, not much work today because of having friends visiting. But what I love about July and August is essentially, for me, they are the months of tinker time. I always call it tinker time. I don't know, some of you may remember there was a TV show on called Scrapyard or Scrapyard Challenge, I think, where they used to have to build something over 24 hours, and then in the last hour they had tinker time. So yes, it's definitely all about tinker time at the moment. There are a couple of big jobs to do. Not big as in not sort of too much time, but big as in quite physical. So there's no way on a day like today, we have no cloud cover, it's bright blue sky, the sun is beating down, There's no way I'm going to do really physical stuff on a day like today, so that can wait. So today, one of the first things I'm going to do, we'll go out there in a second, is I'm going to start tying some things in. I'm also going to, oh God, I've got a little sweat bead tash. Wanna kiss me? How gorgeous. Yeah, so a bit of tying in, and then some cares for my various flowers, some cares and some harvesting. So, without further ado, oh, I should just say, look, at the moment there are some weeds in my garden. Not a huge amount, but there are some. Just ignore them. They're not, there's nothing big, there's nothing that's sort of encroaching on or strangling any of my plants. They're just really, really little things that have popped up here and there. I'm just not bothered about them for now. I'd rather get on and look after the veggies and the flowers, and when that's done, then when there's time, I'll attend to the weeds. So, if you see a weed or two today, pretend you didn't see it. Come on, let's get into that gorgeous sunshine. I'm just going to start here in the shade of the lovely tree lily, which, oh, those buds are getting fatter by the day. So these cucumbers that I put in to replace the ones that the slugs had, they are actually now just beginning to grow. Now they will, oh sorry, a bit huffy because I'm bent double. They have these beautiful, incredibly delicate looking little tendrils on them, and they will, once those tendrils find the little ladder, as it were, they will start to cling on. But until they do, I'm just going to give them a little bit of help and tie them in. What I find is that until they're on to about the second or third rung, I do have to tie them in. But once they're that far, once they get to about this rung, they'll probably properly start clinging on by themselves. But I'm pleased because, well, obviously these are replacements, and these haven't had, oh touch wood, these not had a nibble at all. But it's like the other day when I was on the deck talking about the achocha and speculating about my indoor starts versus direct sowings, or starts that I start down here in the cold frame. These do seem more lush, more strong, more healthy in comparison to the ones that I started at home quite a bit earlier. Now, obviously, the ones I started at home, they were nice and warm indoors. They've come down here once the temperature down here got warmer. They were hardened off, but even so, there's quite a difference. And there is a part of me which thinks, do you know what? Oh, I'm nervous about this, but I'm almost thinking that next year I shan't bother starting anything indoors at home in terms of the squash family, and instead just start them all down here, and maybe that will give me more robust plants because they'll be more accustomed to being down here in the first place. The only problem with that, of course, is what if none of them work? What if that's a complete washout then? Oh, I'd have nothing. Maybe what I'll do is a few indoors at home, but more down here, and we'll see how that goes. Oh, right. Gosh, moving along, and I'm now into the sun, and it really is getting quite hot. bliss of tinker time. For the most part, it's just me, the birds and the cats. An occasional bit of building work somewhere in the background. Right on cue. Now, as you might expect, it's exactly the same principle for the climbing squash, except, well, they really do need a helping hand because they are going considerably more vertically than the little cukes. But again, this I'm filming today, about 3 or 4 days after I filmed the June tour. Oh, volunteer tomato under there. Yeah, this is 3 or 4 days after the June tour, and I think it's probably evident just how much things have grown in the last few days, and I'm sure that is due to this lovely heat we've been having. It's always a bit of a battle though, isn't it? You get the heat, which the squash and tomatoes in particular seem to really enjoy, and then, but no rain. So we're all back to daily watering, and my goodness, it doesn't half take a time. I timed myself the other night because I thought, how long does it take me to water the whole garden? Well, I can tell you, it takes me a little over 1 hour. My goodness. But that's what we do, isn't it? That's what we do to keep our gorgeous veggies alive. This one's really going for it, so I'm actually going to put a couple of ties in. Just kind of wanting to sort of spread the weight of it a bit. So what I do when I'm doing these ties is I get a firm tie to the support structure, whether it's the canes that the cukes are climbing up or these branches that the squash are climbing up. Get my firm support to the structure, and then it's more of a bit of a loose loop around the plant, so that stem has got room to grow, but hopefully not flop about too much. Whoopla! Yeah, that one's... Oh, and the first little teeny tiny baby forming, I think. Okay, that's one TP done. Let's have a look where else needs doing. The loofah definitely don't need doing. It feels like for the last few weeks I've been saying over and over again that the garden seems really slow this year, and you know, for the most part it does. However, the calendula has suddenly gone mad just in the last sort of 10 days or so, so I need to get harvesting. I'm going to I apply pretty much the same principle to all flowers that I harvest. So for example, I'm going to do the chamomile in a minute too. late morning is pretty much perfect. I can't believe I've got that noise again today. I think it's someone's having a loft conversion. I'm not sure. Anyway, we'll ignore it as best we can. Yes, so late morning, give the chance a flower to completely open, and we're not really having dew because there's just no moisture anywhere. But if we had dew, a wet night, whatever, it just gives the flower a chance to dry off as well. And as I'm doing it, I'm surrounded by hoverflies, bees, what have you. So when I harvest for chamomile, especially at the beginning when I'm trying to keep on top of it, I tend to cut back to the next sort of stem that's growing, rather than just take the heads off. You could just take all the heads off, but then you're left with a bed of kind of ugly stalks. Towards the end of the harvest, when I get into sort of September, October, and I'm sick of doing it, because believe me, I get sick of doing it by then, I'm not nearly so careful. I just snatch the heads off willy-nilly. But at the beginning of the season, I'm trying to do it so that it will still look beautiful. And at this stage, I will deadhead as well. Depending on how far the petals have gone over, I'll just compost them. I'll probably compost that one. So the idea with deadheading is, and I know a lot of you, I know most of you will know this, but this is for those who don't. These heads as they go over, this is a good one to show you. Let's just cut down into there. You've got these various stages. So the flower's been beautiful, been open, it starts to sort of shrivel up. Eventually all those little petals drop off and you're left with this, which is the beginning of the formation of the seed head. Eventually all the seeds are inside. I'll give you a close up in a sec. They will all turn brown, and eventually I'll harvest, hang them upside down in a paper bag to let them all shake out. So the reason I'm being thorough about deadheading, if I let all these go over, or let's say I harvest the open ones and leave all the semi-dying back ones, the plant is going to think, with its plant brain, that it's done its job. This plant's job is to attract pollinators in, to get itself pollinated, to form seeds. Once it's formed its seeds, it's like, that's it, I've done my job, I can die back now. So if I was to leave this whole bed as it is right now, in about a month or so, that'd be it. I wouldn't be getting any more harvests. So yes, I am quite thorough about deadheading at this stage in the season. When I get to about, getting into sort of September, even sometimes just into the beginning of October, generally what I'll do, I'll have a last harvest of the flowers, any flowers that are remaining that I still want, and then the rest of it I just leave it all to go to seed, and then I have a lovely bunch of seed for next year. Yay! It's one of these jobs. I know I've just said that by the end of this season I get sick of it. It's like picking and bottling tomatoes. Those first few tomatoes, oh, they're so precious. I'll have them raw. But then obviously as they start to come, I'm picking regularly, picking, bottling, freezing, however I'm processing them. And it's so exciting, those first few nights that I stay up late to do my bottling. I get such a kick out of it every year, and I think, yay, I'm laying down my stores for the winter, woohoo! And I tell you what, after about a month of doing it, I'm so sick of it that when the blight comes I think, yay! It's exactly the same with the calendula. All I will do once I've harvested, probably what I'll do this morning is I'll concentrate first of all, I'll just go through and deadhead first of all, and then do my harvest. But once they're harvested like this, all I'll do simply is lay them out on trays in the shed. It's warm enough, it's dry, it's so dry in my shed, and they'll simply air dry over a few weeks. Probably won't even take a few weeks. Then I pluck the petals off, and then I store them in an airtight jar until I'm ready to use them. I should say as well, I'm wearing gloves while I do this because I don't know what it is. I don't know what the scientific name is, I'm sure someone can tell me. But can you hear that on my gloves? Calendula are so sticky. They are so sticky. I don't know, like I said, I don't know what it is in them that makes them sticky. But yeah, it's I don't like it. I don't mind having soil under my nails. I don't mind being dirty, but I don't like being sticky. So yeah, I think, like I say, towards the end of the season, this becomes beyond tedious. But these first few pits of the season, you know, there's not a soul on site today. And apart from whatever that building work is over there, which is kind of coming in waves, it's such a beautiful job to do. Just quiet. It's one of those jobs where you really get the chance to observe the insects that are in the garden. You know, I'll do a few clips, I stop for a minute, I just sit, I look. I mean, I can see so many butterflies over in the herb bed at the moment, it's beautiful. There was a most gorgeous, I need to get a butterfly chart, there's a most beautiful, teeny tiny little reddish brown one on the lavender yesterday that I didn't know what it was, but my friend Kai from a plot over there, she was over and we were chatting, and we ended up, the pair of us just stood there for 5 minutes in silence, just looking at this beautiful butterfly. It was just sat there soaking up the last warm rays of the day. It's gorgeous. So yes, happy tinker time, everybody. Well, at least I hope you're at that stage. I hope you're still not planting. I hope you weren't like I was last week, just shoving things in the soil all over the place. The other thing I think about doing this kind of, talking of insects, is one trying to get in my mouth, doing this kind of quiet job is, you know, the last 3 months or so, April, May, June, so busy, and so much of the time down here is spent just doing and not being. Getting into a job like this today, it feels like, I don't know about you guys, but I feel like I've earned this. I've earned the right to be just sitting quietly in my garden, doing a quiet, slow task, enjoying all the life around me. Yeah, I've earned it, so I'm jolly well gonna make the most of it. I'm so glad I put my little path in here when I did. Firstly, it's somewhere to stand to harvest, but secondly, if I'd waited to do it, I don't think I would have got it done. Now, with the chamomile, I also cut back a bit. I'm only interested in the flowers for my harvest, the actual flower heads. But to begin with, I'm going to cut back a little bit just to encourage, hopefully, a new flush of growth. But once I get to the shed, whatever I've got left, sort of stalk-wise, I'll snip it all off, so I'm just literally left with the flower head. Now that I could use straight away to make a tea with, but probably what I'll do is leave this lot to dry, because I have actually got, I've got enough at home at the moment to not need to have them fresh. And I'm cutting back. I can see where new little buds are coming. Oh, I tell you what, it's warm. The only thing about this path is I didn't make it quite big enough to put my seat in, which would have been better, because this would be a much easier job if I was sitting down. Never mind. Ooh. You know, there's part of me whenever I'm harvesting my flowers, and I think, oh, I don't want to take them all because they look so pretty in the garden. Yes, they're pretty, but they're for consumption, they're not for decoration. So out they jolly well come. But like I say, hopefully I will get a little second flurry. Some of these have gone over a bit, but no matter, I will use them. Scotcho. And I can see, even though I filled up that drinking station late last night, it's already gone down quite a bit. I know that the foxes and the catses, I know they all use it too. So actually, do you know what, while I think about it, I'm going to top that up right now so I don't forget. And let me just show you these lovely little chamomile flowers. I mean, it's basically a wee daisy, isn't it? You see, some of them have gone quite a ways over, but actually it's the centre that gives us all our taste. Beautiful. Yes, let me top up that drinking station before I forget. So, that's another lovely day in the garden. It was so hot today, it was beautiful, it was sunny. I spent so much lovely quiet time this morning, harvesting all my flowers, deadheading, all those things I was showing you, tying up all my lovely squash. But then the day changed quite a bit because inadvertently, I don't know how it happened, but I invited some friends to the garden today. And they're here. The beautiful Paul and Richard. And yes, we've been celebrating. I said Paul and Richard. Oh yeah, sorry. So we've got Ant and Deck. So we've had a really lovely day. We've drunk lots of things with bubbles in. You might have seen their broadcast that was live. If you did, please forgive us all. But how is it today, boys?
Lovely.
What did you think of my garden?
Lovely.
Oh, love it. Love it. Love it.
Beautiful.
And it's good
Divine.
to see how big it is
Yes,
as well.
it's enormous.
Yes.
Huge.
And it's lovely to see Vivi's beds.
Hugely protruding along the...
It's anyway,
Right.
I'm going to do Paul now. It was really interesting when they both first arrived. It's really serious. They both expressed surprise at how big my garden is. I don't think I've got a big one at all, but they seem to think I do. And we actually haven't spent much time looking at the plants, Paul, have we? I'm going to ignore Richard at this point because he's not a plant
envious
person.
of the chickpeas. Really envious.
Because I've got 30 and he's got 10. And I sowed 100.
And your parsnips. And the calendula.
Oh yeah.
The calendula is amazing. Absolutely amazing. So many different colours, so many different flower heads. Just fabulous.
I'm going to have to put little tags on individual flowers to say, save this one for Richard and Paul, save this one for Richard and Paul, save this one for Paul, save this one for Paul, save this one for Paul. Just save them all for Paul. Anyway, the point is, it's the beauty of having a garden, especially for all of those of us who live in flats in London who've got an outside space. The beauty is that we can get to share it with our friends, and this has been a really special treat for me today. It's been a long overdue treat to have these guys here.
Exciting.
We've had
Special.
We've had the best day.
Weather. Beautiful.
Conversation.
Beautiful.
Visage. Beautiful. It's been brilliant. So I think this video is going to go out on here we go. This video is going to go out on Sunday. So I think you might say that this is going to be my own take on
Sunday chat.
On that note, I might actually I'm going to give you a quick, here's the quick release stupid thingy. It's not very quick release. Hold on a second. Look, it's not quick release. Not quick release. Are you guys okay for this? Because we've got a few others here today. So, M&M. Our newbies on site who've been thoroughly inducted with alcohol, cakes, what have you.
Yep.
And then, who's this over here? Graham.
Here, look.
Graham, you need to go to the off licence and get us some drinks. And who's this? Is my little bushy boy. Oh, he's my big bushy boy. So I think on that note, from our Graham, M&M, Paul, Richard, what are you doing? Hang on a minute. You are not having the final screen all on your own. Get out of the way. No, don't fall over. So, cheerio everybody. We hope your gardens are glorious. We hope you're having a lovely summer. Be well, be happy.
Be well, be happy.
No, say something original and of your own.
Lovely. Everything's gorgeous.
We think through DNA profiling that we've discovered
Probably related.
that we were both the great-grandchildren of Anastasia.
I think so.
Unfortunately, he got given to the poor family. Never mind. See you all soon.